Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Did you know that Resource MFG, an employee bridge company in Lawrenceburg, is the first and largest national manufacturing staffing company? They work alongside the top plants and facilities in the area to provide you with job opportunities in production, quality, maintenance, supervision, and all levels of management. Resource MFG has positions open right now to meet your needs today and a full staff ready to work with industrial partners to grow opportunities for this generation of workers and the next. Reach out today and start your employment journey with Resource MFG. At Smith Tax and Business Service, we offer many services. Along with personal income tax prep, we also offer tax preparation for corporations and partnerships. If you're a small business and looking for some extra help, give us a shout and we'll get you fixed up. Call Mary Beth Smith, Marion Matthews, Brooklyn Bates, or Michelle Staggs to find out how we can help you. Located at 208 Pulaski Street, phone 931-244-6633.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome everybody in here to this week's edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. I'm your host, Michael Marks, and we are going to jump straight into it. So I feel like for the past probably month, maybe 2 months, I feel like I've just been trying to catch everybody up on everything. So we're just going to go back to this week, and we're just going to start fresh from here with some local sports. And we'll start with some local baseball, because it's baseball season, softball season. Feels like everybody's playing every day. And we will start on the north end of the county, Summertown. So far is 2-1 on the week. Had their Monday, Tuesday district series with Cascade. The Eagles picked up a 1-0 victory on Monday and fell on the road 5-3 on Tuesday. So the Eagles got back in action last night against Spring Hill and took down Spring Hill 8-2. So Summertown now 11-8 on the season. With a 2-2 district record, splitting both of their district series so far. They will have community on Monday and Tuesday for a chance to try to pick up a couple more wins. On the south end of the county, we'll stay in Class AA with Loretto. And the Mustangs took a tough loss last night, 2-1 on the week as well. Picked up a 10-0 run rule victory over community on Monday. Kason Springer, 5 innings, only gave up 2 base runners the entire game, and was perfect heading into that final inning. And then on Tuesday, a 5-0 victory. He got 6 innings, 11 strikeouts from Mason Tidwell, and pick up 2 big district wins. Moved to 4-2 in district play. Went out of district last night against Columbia Academy, a game going on over my left shoulder. A game where Loretto started off hot. You had quite literally on the first 3 pitches of the game, in the bottom half of the first at least, you had a single and a home run. You were up 2-0, but the pitching just it hurt the Mustangs last night. Gave up 11 walks, and if a team's going to be that patient at the plate, they're not going to need a whole lot of hits. And when Columbia Academy got those hits, they were very timely. So a big win there for the Bulldogs. Mustangs 8-6 on the season. And we will travel just across the way to Tom Cruise Field, where Lawrence County, are they on a heater right now? 17-4 on the season, 4-0 in district play, and are on a great streak right now. Have really ever since the opening of district play a couple of weeks ago. You got the 2 wins against Tullahoma, and then this week you get a 1-0 victory over Giles County on Monday, an 8-1 victory over Giles County on Tuesday, and then last night, senior night, against Lewis County, an 18-0 victory. And we talk about the offense because there's a lot of these games that they're winning, 19-4, 16-4, 19-7, 10-1, 13-2. But notice all these other numbers I'm saying. It's 7 runs here, nothing there, 2 here, 4 here, 0, 3, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. I mean, haven't given up more than 4 runs in a game since, you got to go back to March 19th. So coming up on a month since giving up more than 3 runs in a game, and haven't given up more than 5 runs only once, and that was the first game of the season back on March 2nd. So, listen, the Wildcats are looking good right now. The pitching's awesome, and listen, if you're not giving up more than 2 runs a game, the offense doesn't have to be there, but it is there. And like I mentioned, 3 games this week, 27 runs, that'll play. On to the softball side of things, one moment, with the Lawrence County Lady Cats, who, similar to the baseball team, the softball team is on a bit of a hot stretch as well. So I'll pull that up. Again, they've had a good week. Picked up a win over Loretto on Monday, 15-3 at Loretto, and then a district win over Giles County, 5-4. A lot of these district games for the Lady Cats have been really close, but other than that 7-3 loss to Franklin County back last month in March, district play, I mean, they've looked good. You got a 6-3 win over Tullahoma, an 18-8 win over Tullahoma, and then a 4-3 win over Giles County, a 5-4 win over Marshall County, and then another 5-4 win over Giles County. Team's looking good, team's looking confident, and they'll be back in action in district play next week, I believe on Tuesday at Marshall County, and then Thursday at Franklin County. So 2 big games coming up next week for the Lady Cats, on top of a game Monday against Lincoln County. So we will travel to the south end of the county with the Lady Mustangs softball. Been a bit of a tough week. Fell to Lawrence County again on Monday. Fell to Summertown last night. But we talked about it. Me and AJ did yesterday on X Sports Live. Just reiterating, I look at this season a lot like I look at the Mustangs football season. Yeah, the record wasn't great. But you have a new coaching staff. You have a lot of young players. It's a lot to build on, and we'll definitely. And listen, you still got the rest of the season, postseason where it all counts. So again, you just start playing some better. You play. They're getting runs on the board. Just play a little bit cleaner, and you have a lot to build on, to build off of. Going into next year, and then with Summertown on the north end of the county. Lady Eagles 13-4 on the year, and man, they just continue to look good. And they've really scheduled themselves. I mean, it's been tough this year. You got good teams like Mount Juliet you've faced, teams like Page High School up in Franklin. You've also played some other big schools like Nolensville, like Blackman, just last week, and then the Blackman win this week. So you pick up wins against Cascade and Loretto in district play this week. It's got to be good for the Lady Eagles, as next week on Tuesday they get the home game against Community, and then the following Tuesday we'll make the trip out there. 2 huge games in district play coming up for Summertown. Going to take a little bit of a kind of a detour, we'll say, but still looking at local sports for. In the major leagues, because folks, we got 2 local guys right now that are in the majors that are not both starting pitchers, but you have a starter and a relief pitcher just out of this area in the major leagues, and one of them had an appearance last night. Ryan Weathers got the start for the Yankees last night against the Athletics. 8 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Despite getting the loss, I mean, that is an outstanding outing for Ryan and the Yankees, and unfortunately the bats were just not there. The entire Oakland, or I guess now Sacramento pitching staff for the Athletics only gave up 1 hit the entire game, 3 walks. So it was a tough 1-0 loss. But I mean, if you're the Yankees, you just had a guy go 8 innings of 1-run baseball early April. It's got to be a good sign leading forward. And you look on the year, I mean, it's been a good year so far for Ryan and the Yankees. Looking at his stats right here, 2.81 ERA, definitely something to be a bit excited about. And looking real quick at some former Mustang stats with Blade Tidwell. Tidwell's made 2 appearances on the season. His first appearance, the one that I guess got him a lot of notoriety, that first appearance for San Francisco, went 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, and 2 strikeouts. And then his second appearance the other night went 1 inning, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs. So on the season for Blade, it's been 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And Ryan, prior to last night, was at 8 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts. You can tack those up now to 16 innings pitched with 17 hits, 5 runs, still 5 walks, and now 18 strikeouts on the season. So for the 2 locals in the big leagues, it has been a good start to the season for them. And, if it's a good start, you can hope that can continue throughout the whole season. So we're going to take the turn over now to the college side of things. We're going to take a big look at, well, we had a national champion crowned on Monday night. Michigan taking down UConn to win the national championship. Man, what a Final Four. I mean, sure, the quote-unquote best team, if you watch the tournament, the best team did win the national championship this year. And honestly, I don't know if we could ask for a much better of a title game. Tough loss for UConn, but you look, I mean, this Michigan team, they did not play good in this national championship game, and they still, I would say, relatively kept control the entire game. I mean, it was, with the big dudes they have of Ade Mara, Morez Johnson, and Yaxel Lindeborg. I mean, that's incredibly hard to defend. I mean, when you got, and they played poorly. I mean, this was a Michigan team that I believe it hit like 8 or 9 3-pointers in every game in the tournament so far. Only hit 2 on 15 attempts. And they got out-rebounded. And the turnovers were quite even. And, you look at the numbers, Michigan didn't shoot that much better than UConn. The big difference in this one was the free throws. 22 fouls on UConn to 13 for Michigan. Now, I'm not one to pick favorites or anything, but I would be willing to bet, and I'll pop up the numbers, that Michigan took more free throws than their opponent every single game in the tournament, despite being, if you watched the game, way more physical. 28-16 over UConn. You go back to the Final Four. It was actually got out free throw in that game, and Arizona's another team that gets to the line well too, 22-16. But it feels like every other game they were just shooting 35 free throws, and the team they were playing would be taking 10 or 15 20 more. They took 37 free throws against Tennessee to Tennessee's 17. And you even go back to the Alabama game where I don't believe they got to the line nearly as much, 11-20, 13-14 for Alabama, but still more free throws than every team they played except Arizona. And I talked about Arizona was another team that got to the line really well. But listen, it seems like that's the new way to win in college basketball. You don't have to be a good shooting team. As long as you're physical and can play physical without fouling, just get to the line, hit your free throws. That's where we're at. So, obviously, the transfer portal opened up, and there's a lot of big names in it. Looking over a couple of the top names, Flory Badunga, the big man from Kansas. You got John Blackwell, the guard from Wisconsin. Robert Wright III, transfer guard from BYU. and Wright's an interesting piece because he averaged nearly 20 points per game this year and was a 40% three-point shooter. But he's a little undersized, and that can be a tough look. Juke Harris, guard from a wing player from Wake Forest. That's going to be a highly sought-after guy, as is P.J. Haggerty from Kansas State. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists over his career. But was almost averaging 24 points per game at Kansas State last year. You got David Punch from TCU, Marasukas from St. Mary's. Looking at some other names, Jackson Shellstat from over there from Oregon. A lot of big names hitting the portal early, and even some names that would be familiar to some of the ACC or the SEC people. With Aiden Sherrill from Alabama hitting the portal. Another name, Marcus Burton, the guard from Notre Dame, averaged close to 20 points per game. Terrence Hill, the crafty guard from VCU that led his team to a win over North Carolina in the tournament. Caden Mingo from Penn State. Paul McNeil, I think, is an extremely interesting guard out of NC State. Will he follow Will Wade to LSU? I don't know. Somto Surreal, the big man from Georgia, he's going to be highly sought after. Kamenia, a wing from Duke. I mean, there's a ton of talented names. Jalen Harrelson, incredibly talented guard from Notre Dame. Looks like the Irish are losing a lot, but man, they got some incredible amounts of talent on that team to not be as productive. J.P. Estrella from Tennessee, a name inside this top 50. Sanaja Faru from the big man from Louisville. K.J. Lewis from Georgetown. A lot of big-time names, and a lot of these guys, not their first time in the portal either. Tyler Lundblade, transferring from Belmont to Tennessee. That's going to be a big help for the Vols. You got other names like Colin Chandler, Jalen Lowe from Kentucky hitting the portal. Devin Royal from Ohio State. A lot of big names hitting the portal. And, where are some of these guys going to land? Because visits, I believe, just started today. So it's going to be, I would assume, probably a little bit before you start getting some commitments, I would say. Some of these names like Colin Chandler, I expect him to go back to BYU. Juke Harris, he's kind of a bidding war because that's going to be an extremely talented guard for a probably preseason top 10 team. I know Tennessee, a name in there. Somto Surreal, looks like Arkansas may be the place for him. It is a ton of fun with the transfer portal every year because even with Arizona State with Masamba Diop, he entered with a do not contact tag, so it seems like he knows where he wants to go. Probably Oklahoma, maybe, or NC State. It's just crazy because a lot of places have a whole lot of new coaches, and you got to remember with the transfer portal, you never stop recruiting a kid. He may go to a different school, but the phone lines stay open 24/7 with these guys. You know that. You see it on the women's side all the time with, at least allegedly, with a local example, with Talasia Cooper from Tennessee going to Ole Miss. We talked about it yesterday. Now that makes that shaky handshake line at Ole Miss with the Lady Vols a little bit more maybe understandable. Also over the week, or the weekend, we had Monday, it may have been posted Tuesday morning, and it was Tuesday morning, the final AP poll. And I've got some problems with it, as everybody is going to. I feel like 1 and 2 is the national champion and the national runner-up. That is totally fair. Should 3 and 4 not be the teams that made the Final Four? 3 is Arizona, but you have Duke at 4. I get they lost on a last-second shot, but where's the love for Illinois? They made a run as a 3 seed all the way to the Final Four, and we're a poor shooting day away from being in the national championship game. And now I get it. This is a newspaper poll that doesn't matter at this point. The season's over. But I'm going to sit here and complain about it for a little bit. You got teams like Houston at 7. Houston did not make the Elite 8. They looked awful in the Sweet 16. A perfect example, Iowa State at 8. Lost in the Sweet 16 to the number 12 team that made the Elite 8. Now, given they lost by 30 points to Michigan, should not have probably been a top 10 team. Florida at 9. They got beat in the round of 32. Now, I'm not saying you should unrank Florida, but I'm saying if they didn't make it that far, have them down there with the Vanderbilts and the Gonzagas and the Kansas. I get their record doesn't suggest it, but even throw them down there with Nebraska at 14. Nebraska was in the Sweet 16, and they finished in the top 16. Same thing with Iowa. They were a 12-loss team, and they finished at 15th. just a couple of bickering there. Texas, they made the Sweet 16. Why are they at 22? I get they had a rough season, but listen, you get hot down the stretch, you should be rewarded a little bit. Well, the biggest thing, Nebraska was ranked over Iowa. And my eyes may deceive me, but I'm pretty sure the last time Iowa and Nebraska played each other in the tournament, in the Sweet 16, pretty sure Iowa won that game. Why should they be one behind? And if you want to look at one-on-one matchups, Tennessee and Arkansas. Tennessee at 12, Arkansas at 13. Those two teams played. Arkansas won. Now, Tennessee made the Elite 8. Arkansas didn't. Totally understandable there. But, again, it's just... I complained about the college football AP poll a ton. College basketball, I feel like, gets an unnecessary pass, so to speak. But yeah, it's very interesting just to see how that stuff all works out. We also had the president sign an executive order. Now, I'm not exactly sure how this goes about happening, but I think it's a good start. College athletes can now play a maximum of 5 seasons in a 5-year window, a maximum of 1 transfer before graduation. Otherwise, you need to sit a full season. And schools that violate risk losing federal funding. And listen, college sports nowadays is all about the money, so you don't want to get your funding pulled. Also believe that along with that 5 years, or you get 5 seasons or 5 years to play 5 seasons, whatever it is. I believe that is. It starts either from the day of your high school graduation, or if you are a player from overseas, then it would be I believe from your 19th birthday. So we're gonna officially, hopefully, get out of the way of having 25, 24, 20, 23. I would say is on the border, but no 24 and 25-year-olds in college sports anymore, which I think is great for the sport. Because a lot of I feel like something that doesn't get pulled up a lot is the the high school aged kids. You got all these people playing 5, 6 years of college ball. There's quite literally an entire group of high school kids that could have graduated from high school, went through 4 years of university, graduated, and there are still people that were there before them and are there after them. And that's a problem. And I again, not exactly sure how we stop it. I do think the 1 transfer is going to change. I think if it's something that is put in, I think it's going to change college sports for the better, because now we have, I think it was 1,800, somewhere around that number of Division I players entering the transfer portal just for basketball, in this basketball. And it's because you got kids that are averaging 3 points, 4 points, 5 points a game, or even in some cases half a point a game, that are asking for 7 figures. And I don't know who's in their ear telling them this, and they may get that money, but that's a problem. Man, we can't have teams. I mean, you go to, I don't know, let's just take a look at the NFL 10 years ago. Go to Bill Belichick, Patriots, win a Super Bowl. And then that Monday, your entire team's a free agent. That's what it's like in college sports. Or you go to the NBA with, I don't know, we'll say the Celtics and Joe Mazzulla. Hey, we wake up the next day, or your entire team's a free agent. You can't function that way. You can't build a culture. You can't build, and where it's really hurting is the fans, because I get that fans are a huge part on this, but it's hard for now the casual fan to even know who's on your team. Because it's extremely hard for people that cover it to cover the transfer portal to keep up with everything. Just 6 minutes ago, UConn center Eric Reeby has entered the transfer portal. Miami guard Jordan Key has entered the transfer portal. I mean, you got stuff like this happening all the time. Cal transfer guard Justin Pippen is committed to Ohio State. Marcus Vaughn, the transfer from LSU, is now committed to Arizona State. Corey Mincy from George Mason, committed to South Carolina. Just a bunch of little things like that. Luis Duarte from New Mexico State going to Rutgers. And you're sitting here thinking, okay, I don't know who any of these people are. Yeah, and when your team takes the court at the end of October, early November next year, especially for Tennessee fans, because you look at how drained that roster is, who are you going to know? Let's just go back and look at kind of where they are right now. And this is just, that is the Lady Vols. Let's go find the men's squad. And this is as of, I believe, yesterday morning. The active people on the team returning right now are Troy Henderson and Dwayne Brown. You have, out of eligibility, a bunch of guys. You got, Cade Phillips in the portal. JP Estrella is going to Michigan. Bishop Boswell, Jalen Carey, Amari Evans. some of those not as surprising as others. Like J.P. Estrella, did not see that one coming. Bishop Boswell, Amari Evans, kind of see those coming a mile away. The Jalen Carey one is also surprising. So there's either one of two things. Either Rick Barnes is completely restructuring his entire team, or maybe some money problems in Knoxville. Not suggesting anything, but man, Estrella going to Michigan is definitely a sour topic for some Tennessee fans, especially since the last game of the season, Michigan beat Tennessee. But the thing was, Michigan really came out of nowhere on this one. It was Indiana that was all in on Estrella. Kansas, was trying to get in there as well, and then Michigan. As soon as they won the national championship, I mean, it's like Dusty May didn't even. He probably hadn't slept yet since that win, because you gotta, stay with your head down. And you look at the Lady Vols. They've gotten 2 commits, Avery Mills from Liberty and Naomi White from Northern Arizona, but there's only one other player on the team with Gabby Minus, the incoming freshman. Now, there are some people that think Jada Civil may return, leave the portal, but I mean, a lot of the names, Talasia Cooper's already at Ole Miss, Eliza Latham's already at Virginia Tech. There's a lot of rumbles of some other spots for some players, so it's definitely a troubling time in college sports. It feels like that every time the transfer portal opens up. I know there's a lot of fake reports from Tennessee fans trying to get the Vandy's Tyler Tanner to enter the portal. While that would be great, that seems like a guy that's going to the NBA and going to be an early second-round pick, maybe late first. But, man, if you could get that kid to stay in high school, that would be incredible. So let's take a turn over to some baseball. We haven't talked some baseball in a while, so we'll talk a little SEC baseball. And, boy, things staying rough for the boys in orange and white as another weekend, another lost series. This weekend, last weekend to LSU, the weekend before to Vanderbilt, and feels like it all happens the exact same way. I mean, you go look at the game from Easter Sunday. Tennessee is leading that game 5-0 most of the game. And then you have players coming up after the game saying that we got a little complacent, which tells you everything you need to know. And boy, it's I've sat there and finally got to watch a weekend of Tennessee baseball to try to figure out what the problem, I guess you could say, is. Man, it's the pitching. The pitching is, and it's not even the starting pitching. It is the relief pitching. It's awful. I mean, if you're coming out of the Tennessee bullpen and your name's not Cam Appenzeller, which is crazy because that's the freshman coming out of the portal. If your name's not Cam Appenzeller, I mean, I'm terrified to see what happens. The bats are fine. They're going to be slow, obviously. I mean, I'll just pull up the team stats. You look at batting average. You got, the only guys that get significant play time that are batting well, and I'm going to say north of 250. You got Manny Marin at the 290. Reese Chapman in there as well. Henry Ford at 300. Blake Grimmer at 300. Garrett Wright at 320. Trent Grinlinger, the complacent man, he's batting 410. And that's in 50 plate appearances. He's starting to build those up, as is Grimmer and Wright. But the bats are not great. Levi Clark is still a guy that's out there most days batting 175. And that's not going to cut it. And the home run numbers are down tremendously. I mean, you look at the guys. You got Henry Ford at 10, Blaine Brown at 9, Manny Marin at 5, Reese Chapman at 3, Levi Clark at 3, Blake Grimmer at 7. Where are you getting your power from? I mean, this was a team that would hit crazy amounts of home runs and draw a bunch of walks, but this year, not the case. So we will pull up the pitching statistics. At least the 3 starters on your weekend, Mac, Blanco, and Coons. I mean, they all look good in about 40 innings, giving up about, 15 runs each. I mean, it's all very similar, and the walk numbers are down from Coons, which is a good sight, up from Blanco and Mac, which is a bit concerning. But then you got Appenzeller. He's 4-0 on the year in 10 appearances, has a 1.1 ERA. In 30 innings, he's given up only 4 earned runs, 35 strikeouts to 4 walks, and is allowing a batting average of 162. And then you got other guys that, there's been a lot of guys that have had some rough years. Brady Frederick, to name one. A lot of hype from him coming out of ETSU. 11 runs in 19 and 25 innings, 11 runs. I mean, it's only a 3.5 ERA, but it just feels rough. Blaine Brown, we haven't seen him throw a whole lot. Pitched the first inning of 2 midweek games, and that's all we've seen from him. Arvidsson's had a rough year, ERA near 5. Krenzel, he has had a rough year as well. 11 innings, 11 runs. Only 10 of them earned, so the ERA just south of 9. But, those are guys that you put a lot of faith in. Nick Abraham as well. Bo Rudy has come along well. But there's a lot of guys you put a lot of faith in that just ain't getting it done. And a lot of it's the walk numbers. You got guys, it feels like saying this all the time, but a lot of guys walking down the first for the other team and not as many for Tennessee. But we'll take a look outside of the Volunteers and just look at the whole country, I guess you could say. Let's pull up the scores from last night because we're at that point in the year. We've hit Easter. You got some Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. 2 feature top 25 teams. We'll start first. We had a top 5 matchup last night in Atlanta with Georgia Tech, Florida State. Boy, what a game that one was. 4-3 win for the Yellow Jackets. And, hey, had the big 3-run inning in the 6th. This team is insane. You got, just the top 3 in their batting order. Drew Burris, Vaughn Lackey, Jaron Avancula. Those 3 can win you a lot of games themselves. The pitching was good as well from Georgia Tech, and they are a dangerous team. Florida State have done a really good job after losing their big power hitter, Miles Bailey. They filled in well. The bats weren't there last night, but again, you got a pitching matchup of Wes Mendez and Tate McKee. Not going to be a whole lot, going in that one. You had 2 guys go six innings each, give up 3 runs. It's going to be a tough one going. Vanderbilt, boy, have they really come on as of late. The Commodores 21-14 overall, 7-6 in conference play. Get a 10-5 win at home against Oklahoma. And man, Oklahoma got up early in the 4th, but Vandy, man, they just felt like anytime they would do anything. Mike Mancini having an outstanding year. I believe had 2 home runs in that game. And listen, Vandy got up 10-4. It was over. And that's what Vanderbilt has done so well as of late, and why they're playing a lot better baseball. They're really hitting you hard late in games. They are, they may not be the greatest off of starters, off of other teams' starting pitchers, but man, when they get to your bullpen, they wear you out. 10 runs on 10 hits, only 1 error. Vandy getting a big win over Oklahoma. So we'll take a look at the scoreboard for tonight. We'll look at at least the couple of the big games. In the ACC, you got number 23 Boston College against Virginia Tech. Notre Dame and number 13 Virginia. You got Florida on the road at number 4 Georgia. That one at 6 p.m. tonight. Number 19 Nebraska, number 21 Oregon doing battle at 6 o'clock. UCLA traveling to New Jersey to play Rutgers in a conference game because, of course, UCLA and Rutgers are in the same conference in 2026. North Carolina Clemson, that should be a good one. Clemson a little down this year, but that team's still going to be good. In the SEC, you got Arkansas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Vandy, and Kentucky and Auburn. Look a little later into the night, you got Southern Miss and Louisiana. Tennessee on the road to take on number 9 Mississippi State. Number 24 LSU, number 25 Ole Miss doing battle as those 2 teams still looking for potential hosting late in the season. West Virginia, one of the hotter teams in the Big 12 right now. Number 17 on the road against the unranked Texas Tech Red Raiders. That should be a good one as well. A game 2 between Florida State and Georgia Tech. Texas A&M at 8 o'clock tonight. That one in College Station. And then Iowa having to play a late one at 10 o'clock. First pitch against Southern Cal. Boy, we've had an incredibly fun year of college baseball. You got teams like UCF that are 12th in the country and are absolutely not going to say completely dominating, but are having a good go of it in the Big 12 this year. Just a ton of fun there. And again, we'll take a look at those SEC series happening this weekend. So we got Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, South Carolina, Missouri, Florida, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee, Mississippi State, LSU, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. So knowing what I already know, we'll make some picks for the weekend. I think Vandy's going to close it out. They'll win one of the next two against Oklahoma. Arkansas has been a little down as of late, and surprisingly, I don't know if there's a team in college baseball that's got as much momentum right now as Alabama. So I'll pick Alabama to take the series over Arkansas. Florida's really touch and go because they've swept teams like Arkansas and then looked terrible at other weekends. With it being Georgia, at Georgia, I have a hard time picking against the Dogs. Number 4 in the country for a good reason. Kentucky and Auburn, another pair of teams that have looked iffy either way. I'm going to take Auburn to win that one. Tennessee probably going to get swept. And they'll lead a game for the first 7 innings, and then the bullpen will come in and fall apart again. It happened all 3 games against LSU. They were just lucky that Appenzeller was one of those that came out of the bullpen on Saturday and at least got you one game. But man, at this point, you got to figure something out. LSU Ole Miss, that's going to be a heated one. It feels like those two, anytime you put them on the field in anything, basketball, baseball, football, softball, women's basketball, volleyball, it's going to be a good matchup. I would say right now LSU's pitching is really going to lift them over Ole Miss. It just feels like Ole Miss having a bit of a slow year, despite being in the top 25. Texas and A&M, listen, as long as Texas isn't playing this game in the midweek, on a Tuesday or Wednesday where they've struggled this year, they'll be fine. A&M having a better year than last year, and it shows that you need to give first-time head coaches some time. Tennessee fans, just a little caution there. Give the guys some time, and trust me. And another argument is that Tennessee wouldn't be where they are right now if Tony Vitello had stayed. I also feel like that's a pretty lazy argument because he's not going to make the bullpen guys throw any better. He can pump you up, and maybe the bats would be a little bit better, but trust me, you could see a start of a downtick last year, and unfortunately, it's carried into this year, and we'll just have to figure things out. But folks, and obviously, I do still think the Tennessee Tyler Tanner stuff is all right now just rumors. And I don't think any of it's true as of right now, but obviously with college sports, things can always take a tick up. But right now, folks, we're about to enter a pretty down time when it comes to college sports. We'll have the college basketball transfer portal kept up to date, but really, we can talk about some spring practice, maybe spring transfer portal when that opens up. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. It feels like there's so many changes going on. I don't know how the calendar looks. But we'll do some spring check-ins on some football teams maybe coming up. But yeah, we're entering a point in the college sports season where it's just baseball right now. And I'll talk baseball day and night. And now that it's at the forefront, we'll definitely start giving some more attention to that coming up next week. But that will do it for this week's edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show here on the X Sports Network. We will have a show next week to get you caught back up on everything going on in local and college sports. So yeah, everybody have a good weekend. Enjoy some college baseball. Again, some series I definitely keep an eye on. Texas A&M is going to be a fun one. That top 5 matchup in Atlanta between Florida State and Georgia Tech is going to be a ton of fun. Maybe even give a look at that Nebraska-Oregon series because the Big Ten picking up some of those old Pac-12 schools has definitely made Big Ten baseball something to watch. So that'll do it for this week's edition of the Mark My Words Sports Show. We will be back next week. So everybody, have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.